Hello, and welcome to the HP Podcast, episode number 273. It's a really good thing I started writing that at the top of the page, the number, so that I would remember every time. I'm Ben, and with me here today is Brandon. Hello, Brandon.
Hello.
Brandon, you're so bright.
I know.
You're louder than normal. That's not a bad thing.
Good.
Just a statement of fact.
Yeah, I mean, my computer is like a fresh start. I got new Windows. I got new BIOS. That's about 2 years newer.
You reinstalled your Windows.
Yeah, and the BIOS.
Wow.
So needless to say, I was panicking a little bit because I took a shower and then I sat on my desk and I'm like, well, I don't have anything logged in anymore. And I thought for just a second I wasn't going to be able to pull up Slack on my desktop to join the link. But we're here.
Yeah.
Every day when I wake up, I wish that I hadn't. How are you guys?
I'm pretty good, actually. You ever get...
Yeah, I have.
So sometimes when I'm not logged into something and I want to do it on my computer, I will look at the link on my phone and then type it in verbatim. But with with this link to StreamYard, it's like 19 alphanumeric characters after the StreamYard. So that would be rough. But I've done it because I'm too lazy to log into something else. Man, Dave, I don't. How are you?
I'm good, I guess. Yeah. I'm getting a vasectomy on Thursday.
Oh,
Talked about that on After Dark a
Yeah,
little while ago, so it's coming to fruition.
Good for you, man.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know if I'm not nervous for like getting a vasectomy. I'm nervous for like the poking and prodding down there.
Sure, yeah,
But
yeah. You're not
yeah.
nervous about the results. You're worried about the process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're listening and you're hoping for a sample, this is kind of your last chance.
This is the last.
In fact,
chance.
if you're not a patron, it might be too late. It's another benefit. Hey Ben, we can put that on the list. Beta access to non-sterile
Dave's
jizz.
dude, honestly, I expect before and after
Yeah.
pictures, just to make sure that everything went well. You gotta check up on your boys even with that kind of procedure. So
Yeah. Well, we do like monthly check-ins, the three of us, just on that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Like, we have a
yeah.
little private chat where we just
Right.
share pictures. No
Yeah.
context or anything, but
No.
men,
that's what real friends do, right,
dude,
boys?
it's men supporting men,
Yeah.
and there's nothing wrong with that at all.
A buddy of mine that I went to high school with just had a vasectomy last year, and I won't get into like the super gory details here in the first 4 minutes of our show. But afterwards, it's like, it's a pretty relatively painless, pretty much outpatient from what I understand. And a couple days later, he calls the doctor. He's like, "Hey, something's wrong." And they're like, "Oh, you're fine. You should see a little swelling, bruising, whatever. Well, nothing bad." He goes, "Okay." Waits like 2 more days, and he calls him back, and he goes, "Something's wrong," and then describes everything. And they were like, "Get to the hospital immediately." And he was like,
It's not the kind of
No.
thing I want to
Don't
hear.
say this.
Ben.
Why are you saying this to him?
It turns out everything was totally fine. It was just something he said like sparked them off. But Dave,
You're right
anyway,
though. It's these like I think they would do vasectomies in a drive-through if they could. Like it's
Yeah.
that in and out. And
right?
I got the premium package though. I got like the
Mhm.
Ubisoft $100 extra
Gold
Right.
tier.
thing. So I get like
Yeah.
numbing cream and like a
Oh.
pillow and a jock strap and stuff. And I have to go an hour early for like prep
Pre-order-
and stuff.
Pre-order
Pre-order
bonus.
bonus,
Or?
It
Yeah.
literally is like a premium thing because the procedure's covered by OHIP. It's free, but
Yeah.
they got to upcharge me somehow. But I'm not going to say no to that when we're dealing with,
Sure.
the gentleman's area. So
The boys.
Right.
Yeah.
Now,
the
Dave,
boys.
you mentioned that you get with this pre-order special edition vasectomy that you get numbing cream. Could you explain? Are you not numb otherwise?
So I don't know. I don't know what the deal is here, but there is some special cream that you get with the extra package that I got that
Uh-huh.
you have to go in early, so that they can apply it, and it takes an hour to kind of start working. So yes, one of the questions I'm going to go in with was like, what would have happened if I didn't get this? I assume it's like just a local. And
They just give you a lemon and tell you to bite down.
exactly. Here's a pillow.
A ball gag.
Like I know
Just
that vasectomies are pretty much routine. I know vasectomies, pretty much routine. You're in and out. There's not a lot of danger involved there. But if you told me I had to do it without pain medication, I don't. Nope.
I don't think it's that. I think it's some sort of like I don't know. I'm gonna find out and I'll report back. But yeah,
Okay.
this is I invested in this process, so I'm gonna report back on. And Brendan's googling something. I can't imagine what.
I don't. Brandon, do you remember last week when your computer didn't work? Is it because of googling things? Okay.
Oh, dude, heaven forbid I open a Chrome browser.
I meant specific types of things.
Oh yeah, no, nobody does that on computers anymore.
No, that's true. Radic in the chat says Brandon is the real reason
Oh,
you feel
dude.
that way because of Drake destroying Kendrick in his new diss track.
Oh, buddy, the Canada pride is too much.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta.
Do not lump me in with this. Okay, just don't.
I
Are you a
just
Kenny fan or are you a Drake fan?
I mean, I don't know. I like me some Cardinal Official. How about that? I'm
That's fair.
a boomer.
That's fair.
Yeah.
There's
Greek
nothing wrong with
says,
that.
"Thanks, guys. Speaking of health, I looked up at what age you need to do a prostate exam.
I got you.
Yeah, just hit me up. I'll. You know what? I'm almost 40.
You're getting there, buddy.
I'm getting there.
You're getting there.
The prostate exams don't sound that fun to me at all. But from what I understand, the whole what's that thing called when they do like the roto-rooter up inside you?
Colostomy.
The
Not
what
a
now?
colostomy. No.
Oh, colonoscopy.
Colonoscopy.
Yeah.
Everyone I know who's had one of those says that it's delightful because you're knocked out and you
Dude.
wake up feeling fresh. They say the worst part is the stuff you have to drink ahead of it.
Dude,
to get rid of all the stuff in there. Yeah.
I actually heard the same thing. And in fact, I think it was from David Jaffe. He was like, I might just go into like he was praising it in such a way that was like, maybe I should just get one routinely because he enjoyed it so much. Do you remember this? Did he say that during the COD tournament? He was
might have
talking
said that
about
when we played Call of Duty with him. Yeah. I don't remember.
Dude, legend Jaffe.
Yeah, maybe I mean, I'm not due for a few years, but it wouldn't hurt me to wake up feeling fresh, you know? You never know.
Could be worse, man.
Ed is asking for a new Patreon tier. I'm assuming something related to vasectomies. I don't.
Or feet. He says feet every week, so.
Yeah, I think he thinks it's funny, but I don't have the heart to tell him it's not. Hopefully he won't hear this.
I think it's funny.
Yeah. This is the HP podcast, by the way. A show about video games, vasectomies, and the women who love them. You can support us over on patreon.com/handsomefandom. We appreciate that. Dave referenced a show called After Dark earlier. You can get exclusive early access to that show by going to patreon.com/handsomefandom at the $3 tier up. But everyone can help support us and get the audio feeds ad-free and early by going over to that same website for as little as $1 a month. That's less than 25 cents an episode. We appreciate it. We have many needs to fulfill. Dave needs vasectomy cream, and Brandon needs nicotine, and I need probably something. I can't think of it right now. I really should have thought that out before Sometimes you know how you're just like go on a train of thought, and you're like, I hope I come up with something for this.
That's almost every
By the
thought I
time get
have
for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to join us on Patreon, or if you don't, you'll still be able to join the Discord, chat with us over at handsomefandom.com/Discord. We appreciate having you guys there. It means a lot that anybody would stick around and listen to this stupid show that goes live every Wednesday for audio on Patreon, Thursdays for everyone. And if you want, you can catch us live on video Tuesday nights, 7 Eastern. We appreciate that as well. Did I miss anything else in chat here? Brandon needs antivirus software.
He got it
installed, buddy. Yeah, right.
Greek just popped in and says he's leaving. He's going to see Raimi Spider-Man 1 at the theater. Is that playing here? Because I might leave too, honestly. Like, it's a possibility here. Yeah. Let's talk about video games. Number one. What's been on everybody's feed this week is Fallout. Number one, Amazon's Fallout series is a smash hit, boosting both sales and popularity of the Bethesda franchise. Across all platforms, Fallout games are seeing a surge in players, with Steam doubling its concurrent count overnight. Fallout 4, Fallout 3, and Fallout New Vegas are all experiencing the highest player count in years, while even the controversial Fallout 76 is nearing its all-time peak. We'll talk about a little bit more in depth, I think, about Fallout 76 later in the show. Other entries like Fallout 1, Fallout 2, and Fallout Shelter are also enjoying significant player numbers. The recent franchise-wide sale on Steam and many other places is a factor, but the show's success on Amazon is likely the main driver. Bethesda is also treating players to a free update for Fallout 4 across all platforms. On Series X and S and PlayStation 5, players will enjoy native applications, performance mode, quality mode, and stability improvements, bringing up to 60 FPS and increased resolutions. PlayStation 4 and Xbox One players will also receive stability and quest fixes. PC players will get widescreen support, fixes for Creation Kit, and more. Fallout 4 is also going to be coming to the Epic Games Store and will be Steam Deck verified. Lots of stuff going on here in the Fallout world and the Fallout show as well. Let's start off with this. Guys, have you watched the Fallout show? Dave?
No.
I have not, no.
Brandon is shaking his head no.
No,
I've only
I've
watched
not.
the first 2 episodes. But it is good. The first 2 episodes are very good. Obviously, the social media praise is high. I know gamers are enjoying it, which, you know, in fairness, but Brandon just disappeared off the screen. I told him not to open that Chrome browser, and he did.
He'll be back.
I told him not to open the Chrome browser.
I'm sorry, boys. I did.
I know that gamers are loving it, and I don't know if the general public is loving it. Hopefully they are. But let's talk about the Fallout games themselves. Guys, huge resurgence, doubling player count numbers. Now, granted, they weren't super high right before this, but Fallout is still played a lot, and even more so in the last week or so. Dave, tell me your thoughts.
It's been nuts, and I said this in the Discord this weekend, but I'm not just hearing gamer discourse about the show, but I'm hearing this from people who are not gamers, which when you
Normies.
have something
We call them normies.
normies, exactly. When you have something that can transcend sort of the stinky basements that we're all in, it's sort of a true mark of success. And I think that's the ultimate point of these shows, is to get people into kind of playing Fallout and checking out the games and stuff that wouldn't have otherwise. It's crazy to think though that in the last 5 years, like, we've been spoiled with this kind of stuff. So we've had The Last of Us last year, Gran Turismo, Twisted Metal, Halo, Fallout, and Uncharted movie, Borderlands movie coming,
Mortal Kombat,
Mortal Kombat.
Assassin's Creed.
It kind of feels like we're in the golden age of like video games in film and television, because like some of those movies that you've mentioned here, Brandon, like we've seen Resident Evil movies for several years, and Mortal Kombat had its thing, but they were never really good. Now it seems like they're all pretty serviceable, at least, and they're getting people
Halo.
into the franchises that weren't otherwise. So I mean, I feel like The Last of Us was probably the biggest hit, and Fallout feels like it's going to approach that. And the weird thing is like, I was such a big Metal Gear Solid fan growing up, and like playing those games, you understand like why that franchise needs a movie. And we still don't have one. We have all these other franchises that are getting movies and TV shows, and Metal Gear Solid doesn't have one. The weird thing is like Konami is in such a shitty like state of mind where this would be the perfect move for them. Like, they literally have to do nothing except sell the rights for their IP to a production company, and they'll cash in on it, which is the most Konami thing that they've done over the last 10 years. So I don't know. I think we're kind of sitting pretty right now. I'm in the middle of watching Halo, so I haven't kind of watched Fallout yet, because I want to get through Halo. I'm liking Halo, and I'm not even through the first season yet. So yeah, it's great to see this kind of stuff, because everybody wins. Gamers win, non-gamers win, Amazon wins, Bethesda wins. So it's, everybody's kind of sitting pretty right now. So
yeah,
I really want to jump back into Fallout, specifically 76, because I own it. But I love to see that there's these next gen patches that are coming out for free, just to kind of add a little service there. So yeah, I'm excited to jump in.
Yeah, there's nothing I want more than Jeff Bezos, doing well, because it's important.
Fuck Jeff.
Dave, you mentioned something there that I was gonna comment on, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, Twisted Metal. I was just gonna say Twisted Metal. I don't know if you mentioned that. It didn't seem like it. That was another one that was pretty good. And we had like the Tomb Raider movies, early 2000s, with Angelina Jolie, and those were fine. They were fine, but
they were serviceable.
They're nothing like what we're getting now.
Right.
Which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Brandon.
Yeah. There's a legendary appreciation for the source material, is what I'm understanding from the Fallout series, which is really important. The Last of Us took some liberties that I feel like were pretty interesting and kind of pretty cohesive, and ended up working out pretty well. But I am very excited to watch the Fallout show. Dave kind of hit on a point that I agree with. We really are getting a really interesting influx of quality video game content, which we've been starved of for years now, like a lot of it at once. And I think the beautiful part about this that I was actually just thinking about today with the Fallout, with the Fallout of the Fallout series here, was that there's kind of like this circle jerk effect on these IPs. You see the numbers going up on 76. You see, and it's very smart of them. You see all the Fallouts going on sale. Our buddy Phil, RIP, just told me he picked up the entire series and he's never played it.
It's like $50 on Steam right now for the whole
from
series.
The dead. He told me that. I was just laying in bed one night and I heard him speaking to me.
Yeah.
But no, this is perfect. And this is what I think is amazing about this, is not only can you license your IP to somebody and potentially make money in the process, but you also have this like reciprocating effect where you draw people back into the IP, which not only makes money off of something that otherwise maybe was no longer making you as much money. The revenue has stopped for the most part on these games, I would imagine. And now look at it. We're back up in the charts. And I think I saw something that maybe I could be wrong, but I swear I saw on Twitter that Fallout 76 was approaching its all-time highest concurrent player, if not around or more. I'd have to pull it up. It doesn't really matter. But what I'm saying is that once more companies start realizing that this is nothing but good for everybody, it's good for the consumer because we want good content about video games and other mediums. It's good for people that don't love video games because they get to experience these amazing universes. And it's good for them because not only do they make money from the IP and the shows and the potential movie deals, but it just brings people back into your brand and into the future of your brand. It's like, how much more will The Last of Us sell now that the show's out? Because so many more people know about the IP. Fallout's the same way. And in fact, like anecdotally, I was seeing things on Twitter that like even the Zoomers are like learning about Fallout. Like I swear to God, I saw a tweet earlier today that was in Fallout 4 and they were creating their character. And they're like, oh my God, this would be so cool. I can't believe you can create your character. That would be so much more immersive. And I'm like, I don't know if they were trolling, but like, statement stands. It's like it's bringing new people into the fold, and I think that's good for games. Period. So,
yeah. It's funny, Brandon. There's that guy, the streamer that you and I were watching at your house the one night. We were just hanging out, listening to music, watching Twitch, eating Chinese food, and that guy was in one of my friend's chats. So we were talking. He's 20 years old. He's a Twitch partner. He plays lots of video games. He plays Sea of Thieves primarily. And they were talking. My friend was talking about the Fallout show, and the streamer was like, "Who? What is it?" He's like, "No, it's based on the video games." He's like, "I've literally never heard of them." It's like, what? Like, you're a gamer. I know you're only 20, but really, you haven't heard of Fallout? But I guess when the last real Fallout came out, he was like 14. Probably. It's just crazy.
Well, dude, it's super crazy. I have another story like that too. Believe it or not, I was talking to my brother and I was like, "Oh yeah, Titanfall."
Mm.
He's like, "What's that?" And I'm like, maybe it's just because I'm an old head now. I'm like, wait.
At least I can understand that one because it didn't sell a ton of copies.
I know, but like still, I'm like, okay, so do you know Apex? He's like, oh yeah, I know Apex. I'm like, okay, well that's what that's based off of.
Yeah. It was so like my nephews with like Gears of War and Fortnite.
Right.
Yeah. No idea. Never heard of it.
Ed mentions in chat, you were talking about Metal Gear Solid. He said Kong Skull Island director was attached to the MGS movie, but the fact he's still the Kong Skull Island director probably means the MGS movie is on ice again. That's a point I didn't know, but I know that there's beef, with Kojima and Konami and everything, and I'm sure there would have to be. But dude, he wants to be a movie director so bad. Wouldn't that be the perfect movie for him to take over?
Is that the Jack Black one?
Excuse me?
Is that the Jack Black one?
My fear with him is
Metal Gear Solid.
If Kojima had any involvement with that movie, which I know he'd want to, he'd go all like Zack Snyder on it, and it would be good to some people, but for the masses, it just would. I don't know. It would.
Dude, don't even put Zack Snyder and Kojima in the same fucking vein. Kojima does things that are weird, and people say, "Wow, this is like so inspiring and like strange," and I love it, and I'm not sure why. I'm not going to give my opinion on Zack Snyder.
They're both misunderstood.
Yeah.
Erratic mentions there. It's a good point. We're going to see it with Death Stranding, but in any case, we need like a simple, straightforward Metal Gear Solid movie, and we have for decades, and I don't think we're going to get it.
Snake better be thick. They better not nerf him.
Get David Hayter to play him.
Ooh,
why not? There was something else I was going to ask about Fallout. Have you guys played what Fallout games have you guys played? I'm just curious.
3, New Vegas, 4, 76. I have not finished a single one.
Yeah. I played 3. I didn't beat 3. I finished 4. I'm not even going to mention that I played New Vegas because I was playing it on Mac like many years ago. So I really just booted into it and walked around for a bit. I didn't really play it. And I'm playing, spoiler alert for later, I'm playing 76 a little bit. So
yeah,
is this something else here in the sheet?
Yeah, it does. That's weird. I played 3, 4. I played 3 and 4. I played New Vegas. I actually played New Vegas pre-release because we got back in my old website days, we got a review code for it, and I was one of the people who experienced tremendous bugs, and it has forever tainted. I mean, like obviously there's Bethesda bugs. This was pre-release Bethesda bugs, which is a totally different world. It's forever tainted my view of that game, but I hear it's great, so I will go back to it eventually. And then I played a little bit of 76 and hated it, but I hated it one time, liked it a little more the next time. I don't know. Maybe someday I'll go back to it. We'll see. Let's go to number 2. EA is bumping up the prices for its EA Play subscription service. The standard tier will now be $5.99 a month and $39.99 annually. The premium EA Play Pro tier, offering extra perks and access to newer games, will cost $16.99 a month and $119.99 annually. Subscribers are receiving an email today, I think this was actually yesterday, about the changes, which kick in on May 10th. EA says it's adjusting prices to match currency values and market standards. Similar price hikes have been seen across the entertainment industry, with Sony, Disney, Netflix making similar moves in recent months. Guys, I wanted to ask what you thought about this as far as them raising their pricing. Not so much that they're just raising it because we expect that, but I think I didn't write down the original, the old numbers, but this is quite a significant difference. Brandon, I'll pitch it to you first, but while I look up those original numbers.
Yeah, I just don't get it. I mean,
Sorry.
unless go ahead.
Never mind. Sorry, continue.
Okay. I don't know. I don't understand these company specific subscription tiers. Like, I would never pay for Ubisoft. I would never pay for EA. Like, I don't get who they're for. I mean, there's so much more value when you subscribe to something like Game Pass or the PlayStation Premium, because you have many, many, many options from many, many, many companies. I would imagine this sort of thing is super useful for when you want to try out a game for like a month, or you want to try and beat a game in a month, or if there's like a series from EA that you want to play the whole series without having to buy them all. But for the most part, like, obviously they're making money, that's why they're doing it, but I don't know. I'm not surprised to see prices go up for anything nowadays. But yeah, I just don't know who buys this shit, which is what I ask all the time when something like this happens. But maybe I'm in the minority. I mean, maybe people love this service, but I don't get it. It just doesn't have much value for me personally. Not to say that EA doesn't have a large variety of IPs, but even so, it's like, it's just EA, right? So
I do have a correction quickly. I said it was a large jump. It's not. It's going from $4.99 to $5.99 a month, $29.99 a year to $39. So that's not
God.
bad. But Brandon, you said something that struck a chord with me. You said, "I don't know why anyone would pay for Ubisoft. Who buys this?" Didn't you have Ubisoft Plus like a few months ago?
Yeah, to try out a game for 1 month.
That's who does it.
For 1 month. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying, is that, like,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's worth it for them if they get $6 twice a year from somebody.
It's
But at this,
$6 twice a year they wouldn't have had otherwise.
yeah, I guess you're right. But like, obviously the ultimate goal is to continue a subscription.
Right.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
Fuck EA. No matter what, it's like, I would rather. This is a lot for me. I'd rather subscribe to Ubisoft Plus than EA. So
Sure. Dave.
Yeah, I am definitely along the same lines as you, Brandon, in that I don't see value in something like this, but I also am aware that there are hundreds of thousands of gamers who only play FIFA or only play Madden or only play Battlefield. And for $40 a year, it's probably a pretty good value. But I'm more kind of curious about this price increase strategy, because obviously EA has touted the line that, oh, we're doing this because of currency changes, inflation, the typical stuff. But there's a few reasons why this could have really happened. And I think about the perception of Microsoft Game Pass going back about 5 to 10 years, where Microsoft had this gold mine service that everybody was flocking to because you could play so many good games on such a low monthly fee. And people like Sony and EA and Ubisoft and Nintendo, to a certain extent, saw this success, but Microsoft has never actually told anybody or been transparent about how much money it actually makes. They don't need to, but I feel like a lot of big publishers and hardware makers saw the success that Microsoft seemingly has with Game Pass and just said, well, why don't we do it too? So while it doesn't make sense that EA and Ubisoft have their own services, they're going to do it. I wonder if now they're getting to a point where they're seeing that they're just not having the success that they thought they would. And, maybe they're not getting people coming over from Game Pass, or Microsoft is just embellishing the success they have. Another reason is maybe this is just the strategy. Maybe you launch the service, have it at a set price for a couple of years, get everybody in and used to it, like those FIFA and Madden and Battlefield players, and then slowly start to increase the price, and know that people are going to complain and there's going to be vitriol on social media. But at the end of the day, nobody's going anywhere. Or in a similar vein, everybody else is increasing their prices right now and nobody's really losing a whole lot of business. So why the fuck not?
Right.
It's got to be one of those three or a combination of, but yeah, I just honestly think about like the Netflix password sharing thing. Do you remember the fallout from that?
It was
Pun
rough.
not intended
Yeah.
from the previous story, but people were losing their mind over the password sharing thing. I looked it up. Netflix in the US in the six weeks after that change actually came in, their subscription base grew 106%.
Yeah.
And this happens everywhere. So it's like
Right.
every time PlayStation announces an increase in PS Plus, like they aren't losing subscribers. So we all get really upset about these price increases, but at the end of the day, people aren't leaving. They aren't voting with their wallets, and the value per hour, the dollar per hour, is still pretty good. And
Mhm.
we're talking about $7 a month or $6 a month. It's, again, if you're into this sort of thing, it's still pretty good value for money. But as we'll talk about later, you don't own anything, so
Right.
take that with a grain of salt. So yeah.
David is I agree with you in general about, they just saw somebody else doing it and then went for it. But I think the difference is with both Ubisoft and EA is they don't have to pay any acquisition fees for their services, whereas Game Pass is spending millions upon millions getting games in. Uh, all EA Play and Ubisoft Plus have is the potential of a sale that they don't get, which I think enough games now have microtransactions that if you spend $6 on this service and you buy a $10 DLC every 3 months, maybe they're actually making more off of you in the long run. I don't know. We don't know those numbers, but like they're not having to pay somebody for the rights to use their game and their service. So they're probably, even though they're charging less, I wouldn't be surprised to find out that their gross profit is, or that their net profit is more. It wouldn't surprise me at all. But I don't know that. Benji pops in and says, "Hello, gentlemen. Can we restart the podcast? I got out of work 30 minutes late." Benji, there was something at the beginning of this podcast. You'll have to go back after we're done and watch it. That almost killed me. So no, we cannot restart the podcast. I'm afraid. First of all, if it happened again, it wouldn't have the same impact. And also if it happened again, I would potentially be deceased. Deceasted.
Ceasted and desisted.
Yeah. Number 3. And Brandon, we're good. You're good without your headset. Your headset dies every week.
Dude, I specifically, as soon as I got home, put it on the charger. I just think I use it so much, it's actually just getting old now. So
Yeah, could be. Let me see. I think there's like a echo cancellation here thing I can do. It's already on, so we're good. We're good. Number 3. Ubisoft's upcoming game, Star Wars. Speaking of Ubisoft, this would be a good one to get Ubisoft Plus.
it actually would.
Yeah. Ubisoft's upcoming game, Star Wars Outlaws, is causing a stir in the gaming community due to its hefty price tag. The base game will cost $70, but the Gold and Ultimate editions, which include extra content and early access, push the price even higher. The inclusion of a Day 1 DLC mission exclusive to Season Pass holders has sparked outrage amongst gamers who are questioning Ubisoft's pricing strategy. The Gold edition costs $109, while the Ultimate edition goes for $130. Significantly more than the base game. Obviously, those are all U.S. prices. Dave, I want to get your thoughts since you are an Ubisoft shill. How does this make you feel? I know you might not be interested in Star Wars Outlaws, but just this pricing model in general and the exclusive content as well.
It's nothing new, especially, we just finished talking about EA, and I feel like we're like Ubisoft is creeping closer and closer to EA in terms of scumminess every day. And it kind of sucks.
Might even be getting better.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that. But I still love the Assassin's Creed franchise, and Skull and Bones now.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, this is nothing really new for Ubisoft. I'm just kind of looking at the launch editions that Far Cry 6 had, and it wasn't far off. Far Cry 6 comes with a season pass. It's not a game as a service, but people are I don't know. At the end of the day, like, just don't buy it. The problem is Ubisoft has been doing this for long enough to suggest that people are buying it, and like a lot of people are buying it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a little concerning, but again, if people see value in it and they're willing to buy it, then Ubisoft is going to continue to do it. The thing that gets me is we're talking about a Star Wars game here, and I feel like Ubisoft easily could have launched with like a $250 SKU that came with like a statue, like anything Star Wars related, and that thing would have sold like hotcakes. But instead, the top tier edition comes with DLC missions that launch at launch and nothing really tangible. So I don't know. I just feel like this is a missed opportunity here. I don't know how much money you're actually going to profit off of a statue or something like that, but you're talking about Star Wars. It's not, it's not Far Cry, it's not Assassin's Creed, it's Star Wars. Like, people want that stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I this sucks, but I don't know. Just don't buy it. Just don't.
I feel like maybe it was EA when they were putting out the Jedi games. Maybe there was some kind of thing I saw or heard or whatever. It might not be true. That basically they were saying like merchandising for them is not allowed. Like, they're not allowed to have the merchandising. They're not allowed to have the rights to that with the games for some reason. Like, they're allowed to make the game, but they're not allowed to make accessories, essentially. I don't know if that's true or not. I know that famously when George Lucas like withheld the rights to merchandising at one point back in the day, but that could be a reason. But you're right, Dave. There are a lot of other ways with Star Wars that they could have made a lot more money.
And the other thing to keep in mind with this, and I was just a victim of this, as our lovely patrons remind me on Discord every single week, it's a Ubisoft game, so in less than 60 days it's going to be on sale. So don't even bother paying full price unless you're going to have the FOMO and you want to be part of the conversation and all that bullshit, but it's going to be on sale. So yeah.
Brandon, I think Hogwarts Legacy, which came out about a little over a year ago. Wait, was it over a year ago? Holy cow, that was a long time ago, actually. Anyway, Hogwarts Legacy was kind of the first really big game that I can recall. Maybe there were more before it that did the whole early access thing. Really big game. Obviously, there were other games, but that did the whole play 3 days early if you pay us an extra $20. And we've seen a lot of that ever since. No, there definitely were games before that, but like I said, that was the one that kind of hit the mark for me. Star Wars Outlaws. Pay extra to play it early. 3 days early, probably. How's that make you feel? Are you gonna?
Yeah, I mean, it is
for a franchise you don't even like.
Yeah, I mean, I love when Star Wars games come out because I don't give a fuck. It's amazing. It's amazing. But no, I'm saying that in something like Hogwarts came out and I had no interest in it in Hogwarts or Harry Potter or whatever. And I loved it nonetheless. So it looks cool. I mean, don't get me wrong, it looks cool. I'm not exactly an Ubisoft fan, but there's been some things that have come forward about the game that have kind of interested me. As far as the pricing structure goes, this just goes back to kind of what we just talked about. Like at the end of the day, it's like, if you don't like it, don't buy it. There's just so much discourse. Everyone wants to be mad about everything. And the reality of the situation is every week when we talk about pricing of anything, if you're dumb enough to pay for 3 days early access, the company is going to let you pay them. Like, that's just going to happen. You know what I mean?
A beta tester.
Exactly. It's like,
you can put out a full patch for the day one.
Right. You're doing the work for them. And I don't know. It's just, this isn't insane to me. So why anybody would be mad about this. And Dave brings up an excellent point. Even as someone who's not a fan of Star Wars, it's like, I'm in the minority by a fucking long shot. Most of the world is into Star Wars, or was at one point. So it's like, I don't know, of all people, EA to be doing something like, or I'm sorry, Ubisoft to be doing something like this, I'm not surprised, but I also just don't understand the outrage. Like, genuinely, the game looks cool. Whether or not it's going to be good is yet to be seen, but we've got some good Star Wars games recently. So, if you want to pay the base game, like if they came out and said the base game is $85,
mm-hmm.
I would say, okay, that's a little strange. That's a little weird. But that's not what they're saying. They're just saying we have extra shit. And I don't know. It's just, people are fucking dumb. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of wasting my breath on stupid shit because it's like obviously they're going to charge you for this shit if you're going to pay them, and that's
Fine, you could write the notes for the show if you're mad about it.
no, dude, not.
I just want to add something.
I don't
Far
want to
Cry-
talk about this anymore.
I
No, I'm
think
just
I
kidding.
think I think Ben, you're probably right. And I want to look into this a little bit more. But Far Cry 6 did launch with a $200 edition that came with a flamethrower. So I feel like if they could, they 100% would have launched with something physical.
An actual lightsaber.
An actual Jawa
Jawa.
in
Yeah.
chains
um,
and vasectomy cream.
the vasectomy cream
Ooh.
too. Yeah. Well, that's in the like ultimate edition. Guys, what do you think about this? Is not necessarily related to Outlaws. It just made me think of it. But this whole, if you don't pay for the extra thing, you can't play the special mission. Now, this is different than DLC. This is it's in the game. You just literally can't click on it. What if you're somebody and you know I don't know if the whole I agree with the if you don't like it don't buy it thing, but this is different than that because this is I do like it. I am going to buy it. I'm going to pay you $70, but you're holding back part of the game that is there from me, and you know you're supporting it. You're buying the game. You're really excited, but you can only afford the base game price. What do you think about that? Because in Hogwarts, that special PlayStation mission was
Was
maybe the
awesome.
best mission in the game.
It was awesome. I was just talking to someone about this today, and even though I don't like it, at the same point, if you want the mission that bad, have a garage sale. Sell something on Facebook. Like if it means that much to you, and like once again, just like I said, if we're getting an $85 game, I would take offense to that. What I'm going to say to this point is if we're getting like the first 3 missions of the base game, crucial story information you're not getting unless you buy the special edition. Like that is offensive to me. But we all know these missions, excluding this Hogwarts one, that's probably the best example that I have, period, of an exclusive. And it wasn't even like that was pay more. That was a PlayStation exclusive. And so that's even a little bit different even yet. But I don't like it at the end of the day. But I don't know, man. It's not that big of a deal. Like truly, you're still getting the game as it's intended. And who knows if this mission was even a part of the original vision and they took it out to add it to this, or it was something that they fucking just are like, okay, this is done, and now we have to make the mission. I don't know. It's nominal to me, and I don't think it's going to detract that much from your experience. Not that I like it. I want to make that clear. I don't think it's good, but it's fine, man. It's really fine. Is it any different than paying for DLC? You're paying for extra content. That's what you're paying for.
Dave, your thoughts?
I don't like it. I hear DLC, and I remember when DLC kind of originated, and DLC was just more game later. And it was, it's not launching with the game because we have to work on it. And if you play the game and you decide to like it and you want more game later, then pay a couple extra bucks and you get it. But the fact that it's there and it's ready and it's waiting for you and it's just not in the game, like I understand the reasons behind it. It's ultimately to make money, but I think gating content like that, especially like slivers of content, is just it's nickel and diming, and I don't like it. I don't know the Hogwarts mission you're referring to, but my experience with this kind of content normally comes from Ubisoft games. And in my experience, the missions aren't worth it. The extra armor, it just isn't worth it because I get everything I need from like the main campaign. So I've never really seen value in this. And if it's not good enough to be part of the full game, then I just generally look the other way on it. So yeah, I miss the good old days when DLC was like another massive chunk of game, and it got into new Gears of War I'm playing through now. Like you have Gears of War 1, 2, and 3, but if you look back at the past catalog of DLC, like those DLCs were like mini campaigns that shone like massive lights on different pieces of lore in this amazing universe. And DLC that we're getting now is like it isn't that. It's far from being that. So yeah,
Well,
I think it's nickel and diming, and I don't like it.
I miss the days when the outreach about DLC or special stuff was when they started including the DLC on the disc and then charging you later on to unlock it. Remember how big of a deal that was?
Yeah.
What about I wish those days were back,
Well, like To your point though, Dave, what I would say is it's like a matter of perspective though, because how many times is an entire game developed and then they're like, okay, this is good. We're going to cut this out and we're not going to tell the audience that this is going to be DLC later, but it is done. You know what I mean? It just feels like it's more later. That doesn't mean that like games don't come out and the first DLC is already done. You know what I mean? Or like there isn't extra content that is going to be tacked on later that is impactful to the story. I don't know.
Are you talking about like a mission though, or are you talking about like Horizon Burning Shores? Because Horizon Burning Shores to me, that is DLC. If you're
Right.
talking about like a bonus mission in Hogwarts or Assassin's Creed, like it's just that to me, it's such a small thing, and that to me is where it turns into nickel and diming. And it's, I don't know, it's just so insignificant, but they're still goading people into paying extra money for those things, whether it's via pre-order or just paying extra money when you have the vanilla game. And it's not cool. But it's just, again, we talked about Roblox a couple of weeks ago, and whatever is happening in Roblox, that is where the industry is going. So this shit is happening in Roblox, and it, so I don't know, this is just what the industry is these days. So
Yeah. Chat has lots of good examples of other games that have done it in the past, and I've never cared for it. And in fairness, for me, it's been like, well, and I think somebody said this earlier. I can't find it now. Most of the time, when the DLC comes out 6 months or a year after the game, I'm probably not going to play it anyway. But obviously, people are playing it, or they wouldn't be doing it. So,
Right.
you know. Let's move on. Number 4. Ubisoft's decision to revoke the license for The Crew on Ubisoft Connect has sparked outrage among players. What is going on? What did I miss?
we're just Ubisoft again. It's funny.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
EA,
The Ubi show.
Ubisoft. So.
Okay. All right. I thought I had a booger or something. Despite the game being pulled from sale and servers shut down, Ubisoft's move to strip away the access has left fans dismayed. Even attempts to revive the game, whether offline or online, have been thwarted by this action. Players have voiced their frustration on platforms like Reddit, calling it ruthless and abhorrent behavior. I don't know if that's quite where we're going, but while the game can still be downloaded on Steam, playing it requires a game key, further limiting access. This move not only affects current players, but also potentially disrupts effort to maintain fan-run servers. Dave, I'm going to throw this one to you again first, since you are, again, the Ubisoft shill. What do you think about just getting keys revoked straight up?
I certainly understand with and empathize with the surprise that would come from the owners and players of The Crew in 2024. So 10 years, because I believe it launched in 2014. I'm not sure if you said that in the story there.
I don't know if I did. Yeah.
But it's just goes to show that preservation in this industry seems to be becoming more and more complex. I've always felt like you accept this risk to a certain extent with certain games. I'm talking about digital purchases, which I know a lot about, MMOs especially, or even online modes within your game. Again, I'm playing through the Gears of War series now. I'm loving that campaign, but I know I don't know if the servers are still up for competitive online play, but
I think in the remastered version they are.
Yeah, but that's a big chunk of the game that's not there anymore. But again, you're kind of accepting that when it comes to certain games. But The Crew, that's a bit odd to me. And the one that scares me, and I know we're years away from seeing this, but Gran Turismo 7 is an always online game. We talked about this game about a month ago being one of those games that if it was the only game you had to play for the rest of your life or ever, that would be okay. So this is literally a game that I may want to pick up in 15 years and play. But because it's an online only game, how does this sort of scenario affect that? And Gran Turismo 7 isn't the only example. There are a lot of games that are online only, and you need an active connection at all times to play. So I wonder, is there some sort of process to like take these games offline so they can be played online only? I don't really know, but this Crew thing, I suspect this wasn't worth Ubisoft keeping running, so they took it offline, and I think there's a sequel. So, there's other games for people to play, but this isn't a game that you subscribe to like an MMO. This is something that people may have paid full price for when it first came out. So, I don't know. And again, Ed, just to clarify, I'm not actually worrying about Gran Turismo 7, but I'm just speaking hypothetically about the complexity of preserving these games when so many are online only now, but you can still pay full price for them. They're not free to play games. So there could be more of this. but it really sucks. And I feel for the people who've lost access to a game that evidently they still love and they didn't want to move on from. So, yeah.
Yeah, and as always with the internet, I don't know that everybody who's upset is actually affected. Obviously, there are people who have had the game since it launched and never touched it since, but still, it's like if I go to the furniture store and buy a couch, and like I'm like, well, we're gonna get a new couch and put it here, and we're gonna move this other one to our spare room, and the furniture store comes back and there goes, actually, we're gonna take that. We're like, well, it's old and dusty, and we weren't going to use it as our main couch, but we still wanted it in our house. And they're like, no, you're not. You just don't get it anymore. Sorry, Brandon. Your thoughts on game revocation?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, this is a sad thing. We see it more and more every single month, every single year that passes. We've talked about it a lot on the show, but what I can say about the crew specifically, when I was doing research about the second crew, which I didn't end up liking very much, I was seeing many people talk about how they liked the first one way better. So my heart goes out to them, the OGs, the people that really liked the first one, because I feel like I saw quite a bit of discourse that was praising the first one. And so this is just a sad thing overall. Anytime something like this happens, but not even giving the option to play it offline is more and more common. And yeah, Dave brings up a good point at the beginning of the show, at the top of the show. You don't really own anything. Don't get too attached. And there's very few games that can't be taken away from you. Dave kind of has the right idea, honestly. Starting to collect media that is prior to this whole, change in pace, this whole change in idea of owning anything, owning a full game is probably the best option at this point, because it's not going away. It's just simply not going away, and it's going to continue to get worse. So Edwin brings up a good point in chat, and I was actually kind of concerned about that myself, Dave, about the GT7. He said that Polyphony pushed out an offline patch for GT Sport. So luckily, hopefully, we will get preservation of GT7, but just as easily as a game like The Crew, which maybe doesn't have the largest fan base, can be taken offline, we've seen many much larger games with much larger fan bases just completely disappear from existence. So,
man, if Gaben ever goes off into the dark side and starts revoking my Steam licenses for all my games, you talk about Civil War.
Dude, yeah,
gamers actually rise up.
Dude, I was gonna say, once you get the PC chads, and like it will be over. There will be hell to pay. You ever see the French get mad? They'll just like take manure trucks and like spray them at government buildings. That's what'll happen, but with like actual, like they'll just bend and spread, and it'll just go all over the Steam headquarters.
Doesn't
wow.
Gabe own like one of those? That ship that went to see the Titanic and it like exploded underwater.
Oh, is it Ocean Gate or something?
Ocean Gate, yeah. I think Gabe owns like one of those types of vessels that went to the Marianas Trench, maybe something. I might be making it. I think Gabe is part owner in one of those companies, not the one that blew up at the Titanic, but he's just gonna hide out in that.
Dude, we're sending him down right now. Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, you never know. Okay. Last news story. Number 5. Skybound Entertainment has launched a crowdfunding campaign for a new game set in the Invincible universe. The goal is to develop a AAA title based on the comic book series by Robert Kirkman. The campaign, which started yesterday, has already exceeded its $50,000 target, currently sitting at over $465,000. I think it ends at the end of the month. CEO David Alpert expressed excitement about involving fans directly in the expansion of Invincible. The game will be developed by a 30-person studio with experience from companies like Activision Blizzard and Epic Games. This isn't the first video game venture for Invincible, with previous projects including visual novel RPGs and experiences within Fortnite. The announcement follows the recent finale of the Invincible TV series, hinting at continued expansion of the franchise. Brandon, I don't remember or not if you were a fan of Invincible, but I know that there's been shows similar to it that you've liked in the past. But I kind of more wanted to talk about this crowdfunding campaign. $50,000 is what their goal was, to make a AAA game with 30 people in the studio.
That sounds like that. Yeah, that sounds like maybe not even one person's yearly wage. So I don't know where they live, but But
You're like, I don't want to work there.
yeah, I feel bad for them if they're splitting that. But no, I haven't watched the show. I've been really interested in it. Obviously, like it's bled into pop culture, and I've seen a lot of really good things. I've heard nothing but good things. The biggest thing that I'm concerned about is them not getting J.K. Simmons. That's the biggest thing I need to have them do.
That's probably $50K right there.
I was gonna say, you know what? That Ben, you bring up a good fucking point. That's all $50K is going to JK, which I support fully. But I don't know, guys. You know, my personal opinion on these crowdfunded things, I'm a little iffy about them. Now, I'm not saying it's not like a good way to raise money, and I know all this stuff is very expensive, and we've seen how getting your game produced through certain companies can be very tricky, and not always good for the developers in the long run. But I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like every time these crowdfunded games come up, there's always some stink around them. Like in the end, like they always just are in development for too long, and they always end up having all this money, and they always end up not being very good. Or either that, or they're Star Citizen, where they make a fucking $1 trillion and the game never comes out. Like
I think it's literally $1 billion.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Or something like that.
yeah,
Insane.
it's just a stupid amount of money. But I mean, I love that they're doing something with the IP. Don't get me wrong. I love, you know, between this and The Boys, I love that it kind of spits in the face of the whole Marvel, you know, superhero DC stuff. Like I love the dark take on all of this. I feel like it's a very interesting angle that has only been explored a couple times, at least in like incredibly popular media. And so I definitely would be interested in something like this, but I personally am not. I'm not into the crowdfunded stuff. I'm not. I'm not saying it's the worst way, but it just it ends up turning out weird, at least anecdotally from what I've seen. So,
Dave, I can't imagine they really thought this project would go for 50K. Not that they wouldn't raise 50K, but do you think this is more of a publicity stunt? Okay, we know we're going to make more than 50K, but we need some money. Let's put this out there. Or do you think this is like they know they can get a loan if they have X amount of money, so let's raise that X amount of money and then use that as collateral or, to help get the loan?
Yeah. Either way, I think this is an abuse of what crowdfunding is supposed to be, and it sounds like they're using it as a way to gauge interest in something like this. So almost like a petition, so they can go to actual funders who will fund their actual AAA game, say, look how much interest we've garnished in this game, and they set the bar so low that it was kind of difficult to make that crowdfunding campaign not look like a success. So it's a little shitty, and I don't think this is what crowdfunding is for. And I feel bad for small independent developers who actually need to use this for things that they can't fund, that they need help with, because this just kind of poisons the water a little bit for them. So I've never seen Invincible. I actually had to look it up to see what you guys were referring to. Sounds like quite a lot of star power there. Then and again, I feel like if you have a 99% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, then you're probably pretty popular, and you don't need to be crowdfunded for a video game, especially something animated like that. So yeah, it stinks. And I think this is an abuse of what crowdfunding is supposed to be. So shame on you, Skybound. Shame on you.
Now, I want to also talk about the fact that they're using a different platform than something we're familiar with, like, Kickstarter. This is called Republic Investment Platform. And there's this PC Gamer article I'm looking
Doesn't
at
sound
here.
evil.
No, not at all. This PC Gamer article I'm looking at here says most crowdfunded video games are centered around indie games, and retail investors rarely have the opportunity to get in on the ground floor of AAA game publishers. Skybound is developing a highly produced, high-octane bloodbath that is anything but indie. Our bona fide global hit IP, Invincible, is in the center, and we've handpicked our own team, yada, yada, yada. They go on to say, okay, PC Gamer, I do not want to turn off my ad blocker. Sorry. Continue without supporting. Another big difference between traditional crowdfunding campaigns and this one is you won't actually get a copy of the game out of it. The minimum investment is $100, which gets you a, quote, crowd-safe holding and 10,000 Skybound Insider points, which can be used in Skybound's Insider loyalty program on things like digital comics and in-game rewards. The crowd-safe holding, meanwhile, is not actually equity in the company, but rather an agreement that may provide investors with equity upon certain future events. It's an investment contract between investors and companies looking to raise capital. Individuals make investments for the chance to earn a return in the form of equity in the company or a cash payout if the company is acquired, goes public, or sells all of its assets. So there's a 14-page skybound contract. If anybody wants to check that out, if you hate yourself, Brandon, that may be good for you. But in short, it essentially sets the terms under which investors in this campaign will be granted units of common stock in the company. So it's even a little more complicated than just like an indie game getting funded on Kickstarter. And oh, by the way, we'll also give you a copy on the platform of your choice or whatever. It's even a little different than that. So you really have to believe in this project, this studio, this everything, this IP to jump into it.
There's like a proof of concept, yeah, and there's like all this information about it, not just like, hey, this is the IP, we're going to make a game, right?
There is.
People can be confident that they're spending their $100 for fucking made up V-Bucks properly. Like what the fuck?
Yeah.
That
now I did look at this this platform a little while back about another project I saw, and it does look like a legitimate platform that has done well, and I'm sure some people have made out on it. But yeah, this is more about wanting to support the project than I think actually getting the game or making any real money. So
well, like,
it's an interesting thing.
Dave said that company sounds evil, and what you just described, if you have to preface with that much shit about why, like what happens when you give them money and not just like, hey, we're going to give you some shit, like that sounds like lawyer evil speak. That sounds like corporate bullshit. 14-page document, give us 100 bones, make sure you read it thoroughly to see what the fuck you get. A lot of smoke and mirrors is what it sounds like to me. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just naysaying this too much, or maybe I'm just really fucking dumb. But that seems a bit odd.
I mean, I agree. I can see the side. So basically, if you invest in this, you're not just getting a piece of the profits from Invincible, but you're technically getting. I don't want to use equity because that is a legal term, but you're essentially getting some sort of equity in Skybound, the company that runs this.
What if it does bad?
Correct. It's an investment that may not pan out.
Okay.
For sure. So I don't really like it. I would, unless it was a company I was already on board with, I probably would not invest. But it's more than just like, hey, I'm putting out a magazine. Please pay $7 and you'll get a copy of it and help me be able to do the project. It's invest in our company, but not through the stock market. And maybe you'll get something in the future. And I don't know. I'm sure there is a profitable upside to it. And I'm sure for people who really want to see an Invincible game and are willing to give some money to this company, it may be worthwhile, but it's not for me personally. You know what it is for me?
Skybound even made?
What is Skybound made? I looked that up too.
The Callisto Protocol?
They did not. Yeah, they worked on it.
Walking Dead.
Did they make Walking Dead?
I think they published. If you go to their main page and you scroll down to the bottom, there's like a million things there, including Baldur's Gate for some reason.
They did the physical distribution for Psychonauts 2, Cuphead, Gang Beasts. So yeah, I mean they're not a shady company in general, but this is not the way I like to invest my money. It doesn't have nearly enough nicotine, you know? I don't even know why I said that. It just seemed funny. Let's talk about what we've been playing. Brandon, you're up first.
Wow.
Let's get to it.
So I haven't been on the show for 2 weeks now. And I have
I told them last week what you were playing, so don't worry about last week.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Did you tell him I was playing Elden Ring?
Oh no. I told them about Skull and Bones.
Oh shit, dude.
Worse.
Don't you even put that out in the fucking stratosphere. I refuse.
Too late, brother.
He signed up for
first and
Ubisoft
foremost,
Plus
it says
to be able to
sucking
play.
dick to completion.
Yeah.
That's what I wrote that. But anyway, yeah, I did play a little bit of Elden Ring, but my PC has been really, 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 really fucky. I'm tying up some quests. I'm finishing up many quests, and it's lovely. The quests are convoluted as fuck in this game, but they're a lot of fun. What I'm playing new though, I played a little bit of Counter-Strike. I played it for one night. I played it with my brother. It's a lot of fun. I'm really fucking bad at it. The game's just so fucking difficult. But when you do get kills in this game, it's incredibly satisfying because it's so fucking difficult. And lastly, and certainly not least, I'm playing Fallout 76 just a little bit.
It might be.
I did buy it. I did buy it for 8 bones. I bought it, so I saw that it was going off sale here for 40, and I would not have paid 40. Like I just wouldn't, even if somebody asked me to pay, or even if someone asked me to play, I don't think I would pay 40. But for $8, I'll give it a go. And I've heard really good things ever since I played it at the beginning. I tried it the first time when it didn't even have NPCs, but it's a lot better now. It's janky in all the ways that Bethesda games are. And that's about it. I mean, it just feels like Fallout 4, but you're playing with your friends. Sure, it's incredibly complicated in a lot of ways. Like the stats are somehow more complicated. All the loot seems more complicated in a lot of ways. Building your base seems more complicated. And maybe that's just because I'm on PC and maybe I'm less accustomed to playing a Bethesda game on PC. So it took a little bit of getting used to, but it's been pretty fun. It's been pretty fun. And for $8, I really cannot complain. I think that when I do start watching the Fallout show, that's just going to continue to push me back there. Really, the draw is playing with your friends. And that's what it's always been. Like, honestly, I think that even if I watched the show, I don't think I would be as, eager to even play like something like Fallout 4 or Fallout 3 again. But being able to play with your friends is like an amazing experience all the time, let alone with a Bethesda game. So,
Brandon, the other night I hopped into a voice chat that you were in, and you guys were all playing Fallout 76. And you were like, "Play with us," or somebody said, "Play with us," and I was like, "Nah, I'm busy doing something else." And I also was under the impression that there was 0 crossplay, and so I would have to buy it. And I was like, "It's only $8, but I already own it in 3 other places, literally. Not because I've not paid for any of them." But I own it on Xbox, on Windows Store for PC, and on PlayStation. One was a review copy, in fairness. Back when it came out, I did not review it because it was bad. Like, I couldn't even play it. It was bad. But I looked up today, and apparently there is crossplay between Steam and other PC versions. So maybe, I might be convinced to hop in and jerk around with you a little bit. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just fun to like blow the heads off of animals and shit, just like some real Fallout ass shit.
Yeah.
And
yeah, officer, this is him right here. The guy talking about blowing heads off stuff. That's him right there.
Hey, listen. But no, it's fine. Like, I don't know. I'm having fun playing it. I think it's gonna wear off. Because I don't know. I'm not trying to naysay on Bethesda games, but in 2024. Bethesda games just don't hit the same. Maybe it's just me. But I have a lot of nostalgia for things like Skyrim. I was a Skyrim guy. I was less of a Fallout guy. And just Skyrim. Like, I didn't play Oblivion. I didn't play Elder Scrolls Online. And that's where my love for Bethesda games started, was in Skyrim. So Fallout, I just don't have that much of an attachment to. So like the fucking long drawn out dialogue, the really shitty facial animations, and it's older at this point. Like, I get it, but like
2017, 2018, something like that. They came out, I think.
It's fun, and it doesn't have to look amazing, but it's just cool to fuck around with the boys. Pretty much is what I'm saying.
Yeah, Davey, you've been playing something quite different than Fallout 76.
Yeah, sorry, I just have to. Something came to mind. There was some shade being thrown your way in the chat last week, and Brandon, claimed that you had over 70 hours in the Stellar Blade demo, but it was all on idle.
Dude, my God, baby.
Anyways,
I just get home and I boot it up and just let the jiggle physics do the work.
I will say, I'm going to tell on you here, Brandon. I was at your house.
Tell me.
And you booted up the PlayStation. We were sitting there on the home screen, and it said like recent screenshots. And it's just Eve's ass.
Yeah, dude, you never know. It's just like, who knows if a photo mode's going to be added. I had to like for like research, just in case. You know, and who knows? Maybe I'll make it my profile picture on PlayStation. You know, it's
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
I've been playing Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. This is a game I've had my eye on for a long time. It came out and I watched some reviews and I kind of felt like it wasn't a full price game to me. So I watched it come down to like $40 and then $30. And then finally last week it hit that $20 mark. Um, and I immediately messaged a buddy of mine who I played co-op with the other Borderlands games, and he was like, "Yes, I'm in." And then it kind of hit me. I'm like, "Fuck, I need PS Plus to play this," which you guys know how I feel about PS Plus. So I did the opposite of what you think I might have done in that I I subscribed for PS Plus Extra, so I wouldn't even have to buy the game. But
Oh, okay, yeah.
yeah, but there's a bunch of other games on there that I've been wanting to try, so I'm gonna try to cram a lot in a month. But, anyways, Tiny Tita's Wonderlands. It's more Borderlands, which is great to me, but I understand why that might not be great for some people. But biggest thing I want to say about this game is we talked about Callisto Protocol a few times in the past, and this is one of those games that didn't do well, and it's been reported that a lot of money was spent on its production, specifically getting the likes of Josh Duhamel in the game and that girl that was in The Boys also in the game. And we kind of talked about how like having big Hollywood names and faces in video games generally doesn't have a return. That is not the case with Wonderlands. So Wonderlands has three of the main characters are played by Andy Samberg, Wanda Sykes, and Will Arnett. And holy fuck, they they are perfect for a Borderlands game. And I still think Ashley Burch as Tiny Tina steals the show. But like I knew that these three were in the game, but I kind of thought it was going to be like a Kiefer Sutherland situation in Phantom Pain where they just have so little dialogue because they couldn't afford it. But no, they are like start to finish talking the whole time, and they are funny. And it's I really like the Borderlands sense of humor, and I just think these three are perfect for this game. Handsome Jack, one of the best villains ever in a video game, in my opinion. I think Will Arnett as the Dragon Lord comes close in terms of Borderlands. So yeah, I'm really having fun with this game. Again, it's more Borderlands. They've kind of reskinned some stuff in a Dungeons and Dragons theme. So big thing is like you don't have grenades in Wonderlands, you have spells. And again, it plays into that sort of mystical fantasy Dungeons and Dragons kind of thing. And you have an overworld where you just kind of run around this overworld with your little miniature. And I actually kind of prefer this over to what Borderlands traditionally does because there's a lot of little like offshoot areas that you can go to explore for extra collectibles and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it. I've played a little bit in co-op with a buddy, and that just kind of enhances the gameplay because you're laughing, hearing everything, you know, from what the enemies are saying as they're dying, or the dialogue between Wanda Sykes and Andy Samberg and stuff like that. So yeah, Tiny Tita's Wonderlands it's $20 now. It's worth checking out in my opinion. So yeah. The fucked up thing is I got Borderlands 2 and Borderlands 1 on my Xbox, and I was planning on playing those, but this came up. So I don't think I'll play those for a while, but at least I have them now. So yeah.
Dave, I think I have Wonderlands. I
Nice.
did not buy it, but I'm pretty sure I have access to it on my
Nice.
PlayStation.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe we can hop in together.
Absolutely.
I have not played a Borderlands game since 2, and not thoroughly enjoyed 1 since 1.
Mm-hmm.
2 was fine, but I really liked 1.
Fair
But
enough.
yeah,
Yeah.
cool. For me, I've continued to trudge through. Not I say trudge. That sounds negative. It's not negative. I'm loving Rebirth, but I'm still playing it. I'm in chapter 12 or 13 now, and still just doing everything I can. And of course, as you complete areas that you've already done everything in, more stuff pops up. So it's just taking me a while to get through, and I've not been overdoing it because I don't want to get sick of it. But I've still somehow managed to stay interested and spoiler free. So, congrats to me. Thank you. Appreciate it. Subnautica. I've been playing a little bit of Subnautica, but maybe only like once or twice since last week. I really like it, and I'm having a good time with it, but it's just not been like forefront. And then Balatro, as I've talked about in the past, continuing to be just like a pick this up, play a couple rounds at most, put it down, kind of an in between game, right before bed kind of game, Steam Deck all the way game, that kind of thing. So those are really the three games I've been playing most, but I don't have a lot to say about them. What I did want to talk about was this past weekend was the Sea of Thieves PS5 beta, and it is Sea of Thieves. So I'm not going to talk about what Sea of Thieves is, but I will say with this beta, um, it was really good, and that comes from somebody with 3,500 hours in the game, um, not in the beta, in the game, who, and I know all the bugs and the problems and the mistakes and the server issues and the lag and everything with this game. I booted it up on PS5, and it is, first of all, it's beautiful. I have pretty good frame rate and everything on my PC, but I don't have HDR or 4K. And playing it with HDR and 4K, the game is even somehow more beautiful than it is on my PC. You're locked at 60, but at least you have 60 all the time, and it stays there at least pretty well. The servers felt crispy. The movement felt awesome. Everything ran smoothly. Now, what I did, and this, I might have been a little bit of a scumbag with this. You can play on your PlayStation 5 with mouse and keyboard in Sea of Thieves. Normally, and on Xbox as well. Normally, if you play with your mouse and keyboard on console, you get put into lobbies with all players. So you can choose to be in only console lobbies or only controller lobbies. But if you play with a mouse and keyboard, you are automatically placed in the PC lobbies as well. You have the potential of playing with other PC players. But since it was PS5 servers only, there was a lot less of that. That wasn't a possibility. So I was playing on PS5 servers with mouse and keyboard. I did play a little bit with controller, but and the haptics are awesome. Everything about the DualSense is great in that game. There's even some. I haven't played a lot with controller on PC, but the DualSense adds a lot more flavor to the game, which is funny since it's a Microsoft game. So I was playing with mouse and keyboard on PS5 on PS5 servers, and I was only playing the mode that you opt in to fight. So it's essentially a death match. You know, you both dive under the water, you come out, and you fight each other, and whoever wins wins. And so I was only playing the opt in. I wasn't going after like just random players learning the game. And there was definitely some players in there who had obviously played the game before, had cosmetics that transferred over from their Microsoft account or whatever. There were a couple players that just had no idea what was going on. They accidentally opted in and whatever. I felt bad, but hey, they opted in. Somebody had to kill them. It might as well have been me. So I definitely felt like I was just destroying everyone I played against. There were a couple guys who were pretty good, but yeah, I just wanted to say that if the game and some of the problems that are occurring right now in season 11 on the version that's live for everybody, some of the problems, a couple of glitches in the game, skeleton ships don't repair, sharks are abundant, stuff like that. That was all fixed in the beta. So it seems like they had already rolled out those fixes for the beta players to be able to get ready for the next season. So hopefully, between the stability that I saw and those fixes and everything, plus all the new features coming next season, the next season of the game everywhere is going to be great because the actual game drops on the next season release. So really enjoyed it, had a good time. I'm sure anybody who was thinking about checking it out but didn't want to do it on PC or Xbox, if you get it on PlayStation, you'll have a good time. And I think there's even the option for not only just console only servers, but I think there's even going to be an option for PS5 only servers. So you can even limit your player base a little bit more if you choose to do that. So yeah, I liked it. I had a good time. Benji in chat asked, "Can you use the PS5 pre-order cosmetics on any platform?" You cannot. You can only use it on PS5. As a matter of fact, what I did, well, so the cosmetics haven't been doled out to people yet. But what I did was I went on to one of my boats on PC. I equipped the Duke sails, the Xbox sails onto it. And then I went on to my PlayStation and pulled that same boat up, and the sails were not there. And then I couldn't even re-equip, like I couldn't even see them to re-equip them. And I assume the PlayStation pre-order cosmetics are going to be the same. So you won't be able to. I don't know if that means other people can't see them. So like if I'm a PlayStation player and I run up against an Xbox player and we each have our own cosmetics, I don't know if that means they won't even appear to me or just that I can't use them on those on the opposite platforms. But I assume that's got something to do with parity clauses and everything else, and PlayStation wanting to have their own exclusive and Microsoft going, okay, well we'll have our own exclusive too. But yeah, at any rate, you can't do it. Sailor says, just praying when the PS5 servers connect to the rest of the game doesn't fall apart. It probably will. The server load's going to be abundant because there are something like 55 million PlayStations out there, PS5s out there. I know not all of them are going to get the game, but even if a small percentage of them does, it's going to be a lot of new players for sure. All cosmetics are visible to everyone, so there we go. I just couldn't see them or equip them on my own boat, but I imagine if somebody else had them on their boat and I encountered them, I would have been able to see them. So, but yeah, gets my seal of approval, at least in beta phase. We'll see how it actually goes when the game launches. We will see. Boys, that's all we got for the show. That's it. We went a little long on this one, but that's okay because we wanted to, and you don't control us, Mom.
You're not my real dad, chat.
You're not my real dad. Don't forget, you can support us on patreon.com/handsomephantom for as little as $1 a month. Ad-free early access on the audio versions. Or you can tune in here every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern on the Ben is Handsome YouTube channel or on the Handsome Phantom YouTube channel. You can also join us over on Discord, handsomephantom.com/Discord. We appreciate seeing you guys there and hanging out with us for sure. I think that's all we got. We'll stick around just to figure out the episode title and get uploaded, but for everybody else, we'll see you later. Dave, don't take that tone with Benji, apparently.
Oh,
Brandon,
cut me a switch, boy.
check this out. Isn't this light really bright?
God damn. I'm gonna need a beer in the next 5 minutes, so we're gonna have to wrap this up.
That's fine. I got a couple things I need to do real quick too. So, we got a name. You got name ideas?
UB suck.
Oh hell
Is that
yeah!
That's
on the
coming
nose?
from me.
Sucky
Is that too on the
soft.
nose?
Look at these pit stains.
Dude,
I'm not even
hell yeah!
hot.
Did you hear that, Dave?
What?
Sucky soft.
Sucky soft.
I don't think I can name it Sucky Soft. I just can't. I'll go with Ubi Suck. But that's also very juvenile, which I'm okay with. Very
What about UB scum? Is that better?
Scum. Sure.
Scummy soft.
Scummy
Let's just-
suck.
No soft. Okay. No soft.
Season I'll pass. Benji.
Are we
Banger.
going with Ubi Scum or with Season I'll Pass?
I don't know, but Benji's got to get to the store for milk and cigarettes and not come back for 20 years.
Just like the rest of them. Cummy soft.
Damn, that line at Walmart was no joke.
Seriously. Self checkouts take forever now.
All right, which is it? Which is it, boys? Season I'll Pass or Ubi Scum? That's your only options.
Yes.
So we should go with Ubi scum because I don't want Benji to like
Yeah, I don't want to get
come to
any
us for
credit.
royalties or something.
Yeah. When
It
this
was good
episode
though.
blows
It was
up,
really good.
it's gonna be
Cummy soft. That's good.
yeah. All right. Oh yeah, Benji. Once we're done, you should go back to the beginning of the episode. It was,
How about just Dave's cum rip?
R.I.P. Gravestone.
we did talk about that actually. That's true.
Cum and
More of
bones.
an after dark title.
Yeah. I don't even know if we can get away with it.
Cum and bones. Right.
All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. We appreciate it. We'll see you next week, same time. All that good stuff. Bye.